Hi everyone, I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop. I'm out here in the heavenly backyard garden. Today is Thursday, May the 9th, and we have the threat of severe weather for later this afternoon across all of southeastern Georgia and southeastern South Carolina. Meanwhile, looking at the garden is coming into full bloom, and if you stick around to the end, I'll have some views of the heavenly backyard garden on this date. But right now, let's talk about that threat for severe weather. There you can see that threat above me right now. I have posted up there. So let's go to the map and see what's going on. All right, first of all, let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center, the Day 1 convective outlook, we call that. There is an enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms and damaging winds and tornadoes across a large portion of the southeast United States, all the way from central and eastern Texas across the northern half of Louisiana into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and extreme southeast portions of South Carolina. And then a slight risk elsewhere across the southeast United States. And with that, the threat of tornadoes is mostly minimal, 5%, that's the lowest they go. And then for wind, though, the wind damage is high. There's a high probability of damaging winds. Winds in excess of 70 to 75 miles per hour and some thunderstorm gusts associated with these potential storms. And the risk for large hail, well, we have a moderate risk here, a much higher risk further to the west in Texas. As a matter of fact, they're expecting giant-sized hailstones, size of softballs perhaps, in eastern portions of Texas and parts of Louisiana, but not so much here. We could see some golf ball size hail associated with some of these thunderstorms. All right, let's go back to categorical and look at the next day, because tomorrow we have a threat of severe weather once again across southeastern Georgia and southern South Carolina. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. Let's go to the satellite imagery and see what's going on. This is now approaching 11 o'clock in the morning. This is the visual satellite imagery. You can see thunderstorms developing across Alabama into western and central portions of Georgia. Let's take a look at the enhanced view of that. And number 13, clean long wave view. And there you can see a large thunderstorm complex over here in northeast Alabama, northwestern Georgia, and new thunderstorms developing across central Georgia. That's the concern that I'm looking at, is this area right in here. Let's take a look at the lightning associated with this, and I would imagine there's quite a bit in that big storm up in the northwest, and sure enough there is, and new lightning is developing with these new cells. And this is only 11 o'clock in the morning. This is the quietest portion of the day atmospheric wise. After about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, things start getting much juicier in the atmosphere as the upper level temperatures are cooling while the lower temperatures are warming, and that produces a very unstable atmosphere. And this line over here is expected to develop and move into our area during that time, between 4 and 6 o'clock between 2 and 6 o'clock this afternoon. That is the prime time for the most unstable portion of the day for the atmosphere. Let's take a look at the radar summaries. First of all, from the National Weather Service, Charleston, the radar is located over here in Grays, just north of Ridgeland, South Carolina. And there you can see tornado watches in effect for northwestern and central Georgia until 1 o'clock this afternoon, and another one for southwestern and south central portions of Georgia until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And this watch most likely will get extended eastward after 2 o'clock this afternoon into southeastern Georgia and southern South Carolina. There's a squall line up in the north and around the Augusta area at this time. This is again 11 o'clock in the morning, or shortly before 11 o'clock in the morning. Let's take a look at the radar coming out of Robins Air Force Base, Warner Robins, Georgia. And there you can see the intense squall line associated with this system. Look at that length of that tornado watch. It covers a large portion of Alabama going back into Mississippi and of course central portions of Georgia. This is a very intense line. It had a history of very damaging winds as it moved across Tennessee. So again, as this line moves into the atmosphere this afternoon, where it becomes very unstable, we could see some damaging winds associated with these thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the models. And this is the high resolution rapid refresh model. Sometimes we call it the HRRR. Okay, but looking at the conditions, this is for now going into early afternoon. This will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. There you can see the intense line of thunderstorms across central Georgia, moving into southern portions of South Carolina. And then as we continue into time, the line intensifies as we go into that very unstable air mass during the afternoon hours. And this is at 4 o'clock this afternoon. There's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, very intense thunderstorms across all of southeastern Georgia and southern South Carolina. Very high probability of the system producing damaging winds. Very heavy rainfalls and large hail could be associated with this system, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, let's go to the a different model, the FV3 high-res model, and this one goes out a little bit further in time. This goes out to 3 days. Almost 3 days, 2.5 days, and it shows the intense line of thunderstorms once again moving across our area this late afternoon into the early evening hours. But look off to the west. There is another wave coming in from the western portion, in from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and this is for before sunrise tomorrow. And then as we go in at sunrise, right there is a sunrise, it's moving already into western portions of Georgia, and then it moves into southeastern Georgia as a fairly intense line of thunderstorms. And that will give us a chance for that severe weather once again for Friday across southeastern Georgia, mostly in southeastern Georgia, not so much into South Carolina, even though our friends in the Hampton, Bluffton area, the Hampton County, Jasper County, and Beaufort County may see the threat of severe weather as this system moves in across that area. But it looks like mostly for southeastern Georgia, all of southeastern Georgia, to be associated with this system. Okay, let's take a look at my website, savannahpat.name. Here you can find a lot of great weather information right there at your fingertips. And I have my threats for today. Again, I've been having this at the top of the screen, but there it is on the website itself. There's very high chance for wind damage associated with these thunderstorms. Winds, we could see trees being blown down with this, and power outages could be associated with this. There's a moderate chance for tornadoes even for our area, not so much as per ones you've been seeing on TV. Those tornadoes over in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio River Valley and so forth. I'm not expecting those type tornadoes here, but we could see some F1, possibly F2 tornadoes could spin up across our region. Small hail, very high probability of small hail, and a moderate probability of large hail. Large hail, that's the size of golf balls, and we could possibly see that. With this, I expect to see a lot of lightning strikes associated with this line of thunderstorms, with this very intense unstable atmosphere. So we could see a lot of lightning strikes associated with this, and of course downpours will be very high, and that will also generate the possibility of street flooding. So keep that in mind. But looking ahead for the next several days, it's not all bad. As a matter of fact, this is the Mother's Day weekend, and it looks like it's going to be drop dead gorgeous weather for our area. Sunshine on Saturday and Sunday with highs in the low to middle 80s and lows in the upper 50s to lower 60s. That means low humidities during the afternoon hours. So it's going to be a great day for Mom and Mother's Day and all the activities across our region. But then another system comes in on Monday night, but more so Tuesday and Wednesday, with another high threat of potential severe weather across our area. So with that being said, let's go back into the garden where it's much more peaceful. Well, these thunderstorms look like they could be rather severe this afternoon, particularly between 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock and maybe a little bit thereafter as you get closer to the coast. But the main threat, of course, is for damaging winds, and this system has a history of damaging winds and tornadoes across the Tennessee Valley, the Ohio Valley, and into the Mississippi River Valley. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. Have a place of safety you can go to in the event of severe thunderstorms. And we might have power outages due to these storms, because if the winds do materialize, there could be a lot of tree damage and power line damage associated with these storms. So stay safe. And while you're thinking about the storm, let's also think about the garden. Here's some views of the heavenly backyard garden. Stay safe, everyone.